UFC 309 has just concluded, ladies and gentlemen, and John Jones beat Stipe Miocic in round number 3. The 42-year-old that hasn't fought in 4 years, and his last fight was a brutal KO loss. But that's okay. I've spoken about that all week. Let's break down the fight, break down the performance. John Jones gets it done. Both fighters, it looked really bad on the feet. Stipe Miocic was lunging him with his head, plodding forward, no movement, no speed, no nothing, so slow, no power, no pop in his shot. If Tom Aspinall was in there tonight, he would have flattened John Jones, but the first round, Jones comes out, they're kind of back and forth a little bit. Jones trips him. Jones gets a quick sweep against the cage, gets him down the double leg sweep. One hand over the chin, Sweat takes him straight down, elbows him, holds half guard, sits up, elbow. Stipe manages to eventually get his guard back, but Jones is just too much. Elbowing him. And guys, the energy's low because I'm depressed that Stipe lost, but also because Joe Rogan said Stipe Miocic is the toughest test of John Jones' career. So you're telling me, despite having 16 title fight wins, Stipe Miocic at 42, who hasn't fought in 4 years, who's an old man with arthritis, is his toughest test? It's not a good representation for the sport. And then even in the post-fight interview, Joe Rogan said, so what is next for you? Is it Alex Pereira? Like why are you not bringing Aspinall up first? It's so stupid. Fucking really hated that moment from Joe Rogan there. But this is okay, folks. Obviously, breaking down the fight a bit more. Stipe was landing shots. Stipe was plodding forward, throwing a jab out there, and Jones was like trying to frantically move off center. Jones, what the commentary team said was a jab in the eye, followed by the biggest right hand Jones has landed in the last 10 years. Didn't rock Stipe at all. Jones has never rocked anyone with his hands. And I'm trying to make this not just a hate video, but it's 7 o'clock in the morning here in the UK, and I haven't slept since yesterday, so you can obviously agree why I'm a bit moody, considering the fact that this whole event was a shambles. It was actually a really poor card, really bad fights, almost as if nobody wanted to win. But that's okay. All I'm going to say, folks, is Jones did very well in the first. I arguably could give Jones a 10-8 in the first round. He was doing brutal elbows, holding control. But then he slowed down slightly in the second, I must admit. He was taking a few deep breaths. And then come the third round, Stipe actually was doing very well, landing decent shots. Jones really freaks out when someone blitzes him. Stipe was so slow, barely grazing him, and Jones was freaking out, no composure, not staying relaxed. I get it's heavyweight, it's a different level of power, but there was no power coming back at Jones. Jones grazes Stipe Miocic's left eye with his thumb. Stipe kind of stands there a bit like, oh, and then Jones cracks him with a right hand. Jones's tricks. Jones has always had those tricks, catch him with the right hand, etc. I'm distraught. Stipe Miocic should not have been in there. Tom Aspinall should have gotten in the cage after and just said, this is what a real heavyweight looks like. I mean, it was so expected. The spinning back kick, however, in the third round was absolutely beautiful. It was a fucking perfect spinning back kick, absolutely beautiful. Shot down his liver, he just kind of collapsed like, yeah, I'm done now. But it was a really poor performance from both men, and Joe Rogan gets in the cage after and just glazes him, and the commentary team saying Jones is looking spectacular. Neither guy looked very good. Jones is crafty, he's fast, he's got good kicks. Very good fight IQ, knows exactly what shots to throw where. He's a very clinical, dangerous fighter. However, he will get destroyed by Tom Aspinall. He will. Judging by that, Aspinall fucking kills him. If that Jones shows up against Aspinall, that Jones will die. And that's not even an exaggeration. That Jones would absolutely, my God, look at the state of me. That Jones would absolutely get mauled by Tom Aspinall tonight. But look, folks, post-fight speech, Jones says, I just want to take a minute to say thanks to Jesus, and he starts dancing, saying thanks to Jesus. And his brother was in the cage. Jones has obviously two brothers. One of them's a professional American footballer who also tested positives for PEDs and steroids, by the way, in the NFL. Jones is apparently the GOAT of the sport, and he's got the most failed drug tests in the history of the UFC. Oh, wait. The, that doesn't make any sense. How can he be the GOAT in that case? I don't know. I'm salty. I must admit, I'm salty, and I was like, I sat down thinking, I'm not going to make this hate filled or rage filled. I'm just going to sit and talk about the fight. Ugh. You're fighting an old man. He was huffing and puffing, and he looked sore. He looked like he didn't want to be there. He was, he could barely lift his hands above his head. You you looked useless. Jones looked so poor in that fight, so technically poor. His kicks have always been very good. John Jones's kicks are probably the best part of his striking and his shot selection. He looked shit. A bit of pressure on John Jones when you're a bigger man than 5'11" will beat him at this point in his career. Tom Aspinall would absolutely maul him and destroy him. Stipe is an old man. He's an old man who hasn't fought in 4 years. He's 42. I'm done. I'm actually done. And I bet you we won't see Aspinall versus Jones till summer next year if it does happen. Jones says, yeah, we'll do some negotiations. I was just sat there like, we're never going to see the fights we want to see. Fuck this sport and fuck John Jones. See you later, guys.